I've been building this roof for a year and we got to put this roof window in. That means cutting a hole in the roof. I just woke up this morning scared. Okay, that's the first lean.
No, he said. Only an idiot puts roofing screws in the valleys.
And then you come back down here and that's the standard opening.
Subscriber warning. The following video contains graphic depictions of the real world. You are currently jacked into the scroll matrix. What you're about to witness is an unauthorized extraction into actual nature which may be disturbing to some viewers. The sudden drop in digital dopamine may cause dizziness, confusion, or an uncontrollable desire to purchase raw land. If you experience any of these symptoms, take the blue pill and resume scrolling. Viewer discretion is advised. Stage 1 of any great northern adventure begins exactly where you don't want it to. Stuck on the highway, completely connected to emails, traffic updates, and civilization.
So super excited to be heading up again. That roof, the roof panels are ready to go. We got to get them up there. Super stoked to start dropping the tin down and making some progress. It's really cool that the roof is sealed, that you can be in the cabin and the water just down the road. If there's a leak through the metal, the roof's gonna be fine, because it's fine right now. The roof window side, yeah, it's hard to say. But first I gotta go visit somebody.
Are you not parking the car there, buddy?
Yeah, I'll park it there. Visited Dad and Alice and spent the night. It's always nice. Spent some quality time with my parents before continuing on my journey. Breaks up the journey and I don't have to try and get into the cabin after dark. You see all this rock here, this granite. It kind of defines the landscape up here. This is one of the, I don't know what you call it politically correct, indigenous gas stations, so the gas is cheaper. So I had Stop and Go in Toronto, which kind of uses up the gas. But we're on the road again, and we're gonna be to the cabin today, so it's pretty exciting.
This is where the matrix starts to glitch. You're picking up the boat, loading the gear, and your phone is desperately searching for a tower that probably doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, we got a lot of water. Forgot to take the plug out. Well, this is not the kind of day that you want to be coming in here at. Yeah, so we're here. It's raining. The trail's probably going to be terrible. So I don't know what to say, but this is how it is.
Once the boat hits the water, you point it upstream, you enter the SOS zone. No text, no maps, just you, a river full of logs, and a prayer that the motor keeps running.
Now the water's down and the dock is precariously up on the dirt here. It needs to be lowered down, and I noticed this wood is, we gotta fix this dock. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but we'll do it. It's not a heavy rain, but it's annoying. So can we get it down the path without winching? I don't know. I have no idea.
Now you're in the Argo crawling across the land. Your spine is taking a beating, the mud is flying, and your technology is officially as useless as a screen door on a submarine.
That was pretty crazy. We got across it like no problem. It's firmed up. So I don't know if if we were getting a lot of rain or just that I'm not driving on it, I'm not beating the crap out of it.
I don't feel like going home. I ain't going home. I don't feel like going home. And if you're still okay, I love to stay. I don't feel like going home.
And finally, total enlightenment. You make it to the cabin, the phone goes in the drawer, and the only thing left to do is make a coffee and enjoy the quiet.
Yeah, always the first thing we got to do is, for safety's sake, unscrew the unwelcome mat. There you go. That's my clothes and my groceries. Cameras and computers. So it tells me why the Blue Eddy only had 88% charge. I was like, it should have 100% charge. I don't think this was the wind because it was tilted back pretty decently, and then let's look over here, the ladder. I don't remember laying this down like this. So it was like this, I guess, if there was a really strong wind, but roof looks good.
Next is the roof sheeting, but it's not clear how one man can get it all up there and fastened.
So I guess let's get the Starlink set up, the Mini, so that I can get a hold of Becca. Let her know that I got here safely. This is like a rat's nest.
Oh, looks like we got another day of rain. That's what the weather forecast said. That's what it sounds like with rain on the foam. Overnight, as we're down to 14, charge batteries and stuff.
This Furman generator is pretty awesome. So without a doubt, the best breakfast I've ever had here. You know, I figured it was raining this morning. It's still raining. Make some breakfast. And I came here once with eggs and bacon. I ended up throwing them out because it's a lot of work to make it and you got to clean it up afterwards, cleaning up the pan. So usually I just eat oatmeal. Yeah, not bad. Cup of joe, bacon and eggs. It's a good start to the day. So this generator has a carbon monoxide detector that shuts the generator down if it detects carbon monoxide. It apparently causes nuisance trips. I've never had a problem with it. But it makes good sense that it has it because it has a fob to start and I have the fob in my pocket. And the other day when I left the cabin, I put the generator for safekeeping in the cabin. And I kind of thought afterwards, well, what if the button got hit? It started up inside the cabin. How dangerous would that be? It's getting, we got to take care of that thing. This is my shopping list. Gotta get more gas. So we got to get this sheeted. That's the goal gotta try and get it done. It's gonna rain today, it's gonna rain tomorrow, but then we're gonna have a bunch of good weather after that. So I marked this out where the hole should go. I'm less confident now that I had it in the right spot. There's no reason why it shouldn't be in the right spot. It's just that I feel like I got to double check now. Yeah, it's good. So when I left, I put this on here because I didn't want it to blow away. Gross. Didn't take long for that to get dirty, eh? If you look at the sun, it's overcast. It smells like bacon and eggs in here. It smells, look at that. We're almost getting 200 watts on that panel, just with like kind of the overcast, which is awesome. Cool, so we got 1.7 hours before it's charged. Air conditioner's running, so it's 500 watts.
Before I ever set a sheet of steel on that roof, I stopped by the metal panel manufacturer and asked the fellow behind the counter how a sensible man ought to go about fastening the thing down.
Woo! Holy crap.
He told me to take every panel for one side of the roof, stack them together, square the ends, lay my mark panel on top, and drill all the holes through the ridges at once. That way, he said, every screw line would march straight up the roof like fence posts across a field. Then when I got around to the other side, I was to start fresh and drill that stack separately. Because roofs, much like people, are rarely as perfectly matched as they first appear. Now I did try to reason with him. I said, I've heard some folks put the screws down in the valleys. He looked at me the way an old farmer might look at a man trying to milk a bull. No, he said, only an idiot puts roofing screws in the valleys. I tried once more to negotiate. Perhaps there was room for compromise. Perhaps ridge and valley could live together in peace. There was not. He remained entirely resolute. The screws belonged in the ridges, and only a moron would put them anywhere else. Well, I may be many things, but I have no particular ambition to become a roofing moron. So I stacked up half the panels, laid my mark sheet on top, and prepared to drill the whole lot exactly as the man instructed. Whether he was right, of course, is the sort of question best settled calmly and respectfully in the comments.
I screwed up this one, the drill started going in, and I didn't know that these were bending out, so it kind of went in sideways and started scraping. Luckily, this is going to be capped. It's going to be covered with that side, so you won't see that, so that's good. It sucks, but live and learn.
It seems rather unusual in this day and age to envy a man who works hard and labors far from civilization, somewhere deep in the bush. But there is a simple life out here. You don't watch the clock, you keep one eye on the work and the other on the sky, watching to see what kind of weather's blowing in. You know the day is finished not because the clock tells you so, but because your body's tired, the work is done, and you're happy to crawl into the sack. For such a little place, we're already living pretty big in this cabin. It's strange how a structure can earn a place in your heart. When I first came out here, I was keenly aware of just how remote we were. The first time I slept in the cabin, in the depths of winter, it felt as though there were endless wilderness just waiting beyond the door. No lights, no roads, no easy way out. It had the uneasy feeling of some old rustic Stephen King novel where the forest goes on forever and a man begins to wonder whether civilization is still out there at all. But it doesn't feel that way anymore. Now it's beginning to feel like home. And whenever I leave, I find myself missing the simplicity of it. The cabin is warm and dry, you can go to bed early and wake up with the rest of the creatures in the forest and begin the day's work. The beavers are building, the ants are building. Every creature out here seems to have some small job that needs doing. And so do I. I've got to finish this roof. I've spent a great deal of time designing this roof, mostly to give the cabin that old-fashioned, open feeling inside. I was confident in the structure, the details, and the materials. What I had not spent much time considering was how one man was supposed to get all that steel up there. But that is the way of honest work. You begin awkwardly, learn what the job is trying to teach you, and each piece goes a little easier than the last. By the time you finally know what you're doing, the roof is nearly finished.
Oh, it's heavy. Too high. It's It's got to come down. It's only got like a 1/4 inch overhang. Not easy to get up, that's for sure. So the big lean, that's what we gotta see. Yeah, I can't see where the hole underneath is. Okay, that's the first lean.
I'm an engineer by training, and that makes me uniquely qualified to sit quietly and think about a problem far longer than any sensible person probably should. But everybody knows there's no substitute for experience. So when you see this fellow crawling around on the roof, it may be worth remembering that I had never built a cabin before. I have never framed a wall, built a roof, or laid down a single sheet of roofing steel. What you are watching is my first time. Now I'll be honest, when the cameras aren't rolling, there's a great deal of thinking going on. I read, I research, I study how other people have done it, and perhaps more importantly, how they wish they had done it. I try to learn from their mistakes before going out and inventing a fresh collection of my own. And I suppose that's why I mention it. This channel has become a testament to the idea that if you put your mind to something, you can do far more than you may have imagined. You don't need to begin as an expert. You need a little patience, a willingness to learn, and enough stubbornness to keep going when the first attempt does not turn out quite right.
I don't think I could walk on this. I think Spider-Man could walk on this.
From the comments, I get the sense that many of the people watching this channel are cut from much the same cloth. They may not be building cabins or hauling materials through the bush, but they understand the satisfaction of choosing a task, thinking it through, and seeing it completed. It might be rebuilding an old tractor, restoring a piece of furniture, planting a garden, landscaping a yard, repairing a boat, finishing a basement, sewing a quilt, building a model railway, refinishing a kitchen, fixing up a cottage, learning to weld, organizing a workshop, tracing the family tree, or finally tackling some project that's been waiting in the corner for 20 years. The project itself is almost besides the point. What matters is that you begin. You work at it a little at a time, you make mistakes, you correct them, and one day you stand back and realize that the thing you'd once not known how to do is standing there in front of you. In my case, it happens to be the cabin, and the thing I'm thinking about is, how do I get the last panel on?
So one of the Patreon people lent me this. Let's see how it works. It's pretty amazing. Ta-da! That worked pretty good. That doesn't look so good. It looks like some rain's coming or something. I got the generator going. Put a couple little scratches here. I went up and then the ladder started to bend and it just bent enough to just touch. Figure something out. It needs like a little touch-up paint or something. I don't know. Pisses me off. I did such a good job here and then I like put three scratches on this thing. Gonna rain tomorrow like a lot. It's raining today. It rained all morning, but I didn't think I was gonna get the roof on today on this side. What a big bonus that is. That's so awesome. One of the things I screwed up on, because it's the first time doing this, I'm gonna have to figure out, I forgot to put the foam in here to seal this up. So that's gonna be extra work. I might try lifting it or just cut out the corner pieces and jam it in there. Honestly think there's gonna be less noise with the metal than there is on the foam. The foam had a lot of noise. Got some rain in my mouth and tasted delicious. Yeah, I can't complain about the rain. You know, look at that. It looks good. Should make something to eat. Potatoes. It's a rain day today, so you don't want to get too crazy. I've been looking at the roof window today. I pulled the roof window out of the box. It was a whole ordeal to separate it. This is the flashing kit for the metal roof. There you go. So this is the top. So this kind of tells me how high up I can go. Ideally, I'd like to get the roof window as close to the peak as possible. Yeah, within reason. I mean, maybe if I can get the ridge cap right over top of this. You know, I may not even need metal up above. There's a lot of things to consider. A lot of things to consider. And this is the pleated bottom. Until it's shingled. So this goes over top of that and that goes over top of that. And then the idea is that the roofing metal slides into here, which means we need careful planning of the roof metal. And they have these, which are extensions. And so what you can do is you can, if your metal doesn't line up properly, you can slide this in here. The ridge isn't in the right spot, but I'm gonna work to get the ridges in the right spot. That's, you know, if I can. So this is where the roof window is gonna go, 22 inch. I might do a windowsill or something down there. Let's see what this looks like here. I had to make an opening here. It's funny, it's cool down there, but it's hot up here. I haven't been up here in the daytime, but I guess it kind of makes sense. Hotter rises, so it should be cooler or hotter up here. That sucks drilling a hole. There we go. So we're marking the top of the window. Yeah, cutting a hole. If you cut a hole out of your roof, is there a way to like cut the hole out that you cut out? I don't think so. It's a kind of a commitment. These panels are working great. They give a lot of power compared to what the air conditioner's taken. It really slowed the generator use. It's actually pretty good. I put the hole in from the inside and it lines up with the battens at the top. And then I gotta put an extra batten at the bottom to mount the window on. So today's really been a thinking day, getting everything with the roof window unpacked and checking it out, planning out how I'm gonna do the flashing and the insulating and all that stuff for the roof window. And I had a plan up till today, but completely changed the plan. And I think I got something a lot better, but show, don't tell. So I need to go pick up some supplies and some groceries. I've been here for a couple days. And then tomorrow and the next day are going to be dry. It's supposed to be no rain in the forecast, which is ideal if you're cutting a hole in the roof. So I'm like, that's the challenge, is can I get the roof window installed before it rains? We get these, right? Like, it's so humid right now. It's so hot. And we're getting these kind of like big black clouds coming through. But they're holding. These ones appear to be holding, and I checked Doppler radar and there isn't any dropping rain right here. There are some south and it looks like we're not going to get any. So hopefully that stays the case, but I've been building this roof, feels like for a year now, since I started putting rafters up and planking with Becca and then just everything. And we got to put this roof window in. That means cutting a hole in the roof. I just woke up this morning scared. But the roof window is so cool. Like it's got so much technology in this roof window, which I can't wait to show everybody. It's gonna make a difference. It's gonna really like be the crown of this cabin. So I got to do it, but I still feel a little apprehensive. I don't want to scratch the roof. We're gonna get to the scary details of the roof window today, but first I need to make sure that if I fall off the roof, I have a bit of time to think about how I'm gonna save myself. And that's what this harness does. It's not a guarantee that you'll be all right, but it certainly gives you a little bit of time to figure out what to do next. The harness, strap on the old tool belt, and oh, we need some fasteners. We are almost ready to get to work up here. I gotta get these battens extended across. I gotta get the ends covered, and then I gotta work on the mounting for the roof window and cutting the opening. I'm normally doing I've done a staggered pattern of the battens because they're 12 foot long and it's a 24-foot roof. So I need to change up my game around the roof window to give some extra strength to the battens there. We'll just make it up as we go along. I'm the king of the world. Whew, dusty. It's nice to be through. So now what I gotta do is I gotta cut this back by 1 inch. I gotta make an insulated collar for the window to go into. So I gotta cut this back by 1 inch and the foam all the way around. I didn't wanna do it until I knew what, we had, what was going on underneath. And then I'll build the foam collar to go in, and that's gonna this is insulated, obviously. Doesn't need to be insulated, this is insulated, but I need insulation up in the batten area. That's the first thing. It's really important that the roof window is insulated for 2 reasons. One, you don't want warm, moist air inside condensing somewhere that's going to create mold and rot on the inside. 2, you don't want cold snow melting, running down, and then refreezing down below. You ideally want to keep it cold outside and warm inside. And the way we're going to do that is I'm building a foam collar. If the snow melts and runs down, there's always going to be some weather conditions where that'll happen. But if the snow melts and runs down and then refreezes down lower here on the roof, it'll create like an ice jam and the water can back up. So we want to make sure that the window stays sealed. And a lot of the window flashing relies on shingling, right? So you have something here and then something on top and something on top, and the water runs over top. But if you get an ice jam, the water can back up underneath that and leak inside. So that's one thing we got to worry about. The other area of concern is this up here. Now, when you see it like this, it doesn't look so bad, but in my brain, in my thoughts, it did look very bad. But it still is a concern. If water gets in here, it will run down and find its way into the cabin. So we don't want that. We have like water barrier above, down the sides for ice jams, and divert any water back underneath here if it comes. So that's the goal. Right there changes. Now we're gonna have more windows, but up there, that changes the whole vibe of this cabin. Just look at that, like, wow. Love it.
Roof windows are commonly installed over battens in Britain, but this cabin has to survive a very different winter. At 40 or even 50 below, I didn't want the edge of the window surrounded by 3 inches of uninsulated framing. Since the factory collar isn't sold here, I'm making my own from pink foamular. It is 1.5 inches thick through most of the assembly, narrowing to 1 inch beside the window. That narrowest section gives about R5 from the foam, plus roughly R4 from the surrounding wood, for a total near R9. With the cabin at 20 degrees and the temperature outside at 40 below, the inside surface should remain around 16 degrees. Even at 50 below, it should stay near 15, well above the usual condensation point. The top of the window relies on insulation built into the frame itself, so that will be the area I'll watch most closely during the first deep winter. On paper, the design should work, but in this climate, airtightness matters just as much as insulation.
So this is the frame for the roof window. I haven't showed you guys yet. This thing is like almost like this is almost like the airlock on the space station. There is a huge amount of technology all wrapped into this thing. It's brilliant. I have to say it's brilliant so far. I gotta test fit this and I gotta get the brackets on. Whoever engineered these, like, it's such a brilliant design that you can tell it happened over many years and many iterations, because there's no way that somebody could have sat down and, you know, designed something so amazing. Looks pretty good. Looks good. Looks good. He hooked me up and I'm doing these surgical cuts. This is exactly what I need to be able to install that roof window properly, is surgical cuts. That is a surgical piece of foam. It's gonna give me insulation in the well, a little bit of gap for the frame. Give it a try. Looks good. I measured it off by 1/4 though. It's 1/4 proud. I gotta cut it down a little bit. But this is the basic idea. It's gonna be like a foam box on the inside, and that's what's gonna keep. It's basically this area here that needs to be insulated. This is good, but this is not. So this is how it looks from the outside above. There's still a piece of plywood that's got to go in here. That's why there's a bit of a gap. It's a really good replacement for that foam collar. Well, it was a good day. I'm almost ready to get to the flashing. Gonna have to pull it all out again and glue everything in.
I woke up feeling on top of the world, like nothing's ever gonna bring me down.
It's a great day.
Got me flying high as a bird. I may never touch the ground. It may not be my birthday, but I just wanna celebrate.
Okay.
There's nothing like feeling alive. I just want to celebrate.
There's a lot of logs in the river. There's a lot of logs in the river.
'Cause it's a good day, good life. I just want to celebrate all night.
Boom! Get the water dripping off my hat. Well, I just gotta say, it's a good day to be alive. It's a really good day to be alive. The bugs are really good. Like, I don't know, famous last words, but we're doing good with the bug situation. A week ago, there were so many mosquitoes. I mean, they come out at night like a normal civilized place, but they're not pestering you in every shadow as they were a week ago. They're just...
The country, and the Canadian Embassy confirmed that Jackie did not enter Canada.
Success. The trip was a success. We got what we needed. Look at these beauties. So the window is on a bit of a slant. Inside it looks good. It's because the rafters sitting out here for so long over the winter, just not stacked properly, drying out. They all kind of got their own character. So every rafter is got its own character, and we just had to make do. With the lines of the roof, I think that's super important to look aligned from the outside. Oh, this thing's super heavy. Ah! Oh, come on. Nothing more infuriating than marking something the wrong length. I don't even know how that happened. It was 138, or it was 38 and a half. 38 and a half, right? Oh, shoot. It was 37 and a half. So this is all boxed in now, except for under here. I guess I should do that. You know, this space under here. I mean, there's foam there, but the wood will give extra insulation. That's a squared in box. Now let's just talk over some of the challenges I've got. Now that I've got it boxed in, there's a couple spots where the foam is sticking out a little bit, and I should shave that down to get a good proper glue. And I can glue this side here and the top. These sides are cut back too far. They need foam in there to seal it up, keep drafts circulating and whatever. So glue is just not going to be good enough here. I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do. I think I might glue this side and that side, the foam in, and then spray some window foam in here as an adhesive and press it in. Both of them are polyurethane adhesive, but foam kind of expands. So I'll just spray it in here. Here, the foam has to come in. It has to fill a gap. So one of the tricks, the way this is working, is these cuts here, right? Everything here was cut down 3/8 so that we can get ply in here. So if you look here, up here and the top is all 3/8 cut down. So we'll get a sheet of ply in, and that's part of the flashing system. Okay, so this is how it looks when it's sealed up, and I'm just gonna Okay, so for the curious, this is a false deck. It's vented underneath. Should water get underneath, you know, if it gets wet, it'll dry from the bottom where the airflow is. So the only thing I had to do was basically cut down all the 2x4s by 3/8 of an inch to get the 3/8 plywood. It's not structural, it's not supporting anything other than the flash. So, and then up here, it butts up against the 2x6 that the ridge cap's gonna go on. And I added this little piece right here. Strict venting on this side. Now the roof window is actually interrupting the venting channel. There's still venting happening here, but this is still open back here, you know, so there's airflow because it's counter-batten and batten. There's always airflow. So this kind of goes over here, this little strip, and then now the membrane is going to go up over here and over here. So if water does leak in, it's going to be like on top of a sealed roof. And the VELUX system is designed to handle flashing of this. And because it's exactly in flat with the battens, when I put the metal roof down, it's not going to interfere either. I got the foam collars to fit in here, and that creates a thermal break. In Europe, VELUX sells a insulation collar, comes with the flashing kits and stuff, but they don't in Canada. So you're expected, I guess, to make your own if you're in such a situation like this. So.
Nothing you see here is likely to be found in the standard VELUX manual. They do make flashing systems for batten roofs, but they were designed for a rather gentler sort of winter. Up here I needed more insulation, so I built a false deck over the battens, essentially turning the window back into a deck-mounted skylight. My first idea was to pack foam around the battens and cover the whole affair with waterproof membrane. It looked tidy on paper, but it would have trapped the wood with nowhere to dry. And water is a patient creature. Whether it arrives through a leak or condensation, sooner or later it finds the one place you hoped it wouldn't. So this raised deck stays open underneath, gives the window bracket solid wood to fasten into, and provides a proper surface for the VELUX flashing tape. The aluminum flashing will still do most of the honest work. But if an ice dam ever pushes water back underneath it, that water should land on this waterproof deck and run safely down the roof, rather than come wandering into the cabin through the open window cavity.
Again, the reason why this is okay is this is waterproof, self-sealing membrane. You put screws through it, it'll seal up around the screws. Like a lot of membranes, but you know, this is waterproof, it's not breathable. Because the deck is breathing underneath, it's all right. Otherwise, if it wasn't, like if it was right on the foam, the wood underneath would rot because the water will get in there. Even condensation from hot air running through and then the air getting cool and stuff like that, it will rot. So by having this raised deck, there's a place for the air for it to dry, it's all right. So this is basically the idea.
The only risk here is that when the ridge cap goes on, it's vented, and wind-blown rain, with the wind is blowing really hard, water can get up underneath, and then where does it go? We don't want it to get down underneath. It'll run into the window for sure on top of the foam. This side's fine. It'll run down here, around the outside here. It's all right. There's still tons of venting. We haven't really taken any venting away, but water can't run behind the roof window, and that's the important part.
What you didn't see was the insulation of the foam itself. I used expanding polyurethane adhesive and low expansion window and door foam to glue the foamular blocks in place and fill every little gap behind them. Once that foam starts curing, however, the clock is running, and it's no time to be worrying about camera angles. I added temporary wood strips to hold everything steady and keep the expanding foam from pushing the blocks out of place. In the end, it all went in tightly and securely. Unfortunately, expanding foam is a strong and persuasive substance. Somewhere along the way, it nudged the window frame slightly out of square. So the insulation is installed, the gaps are sealed, and the window no longer closes. Such is progress. The table saw and edges of the foamula were cut to fit snug against the window frame, creating an airtight seal by compression. I didn't want to carve that away and lose the seal I'd worked for. So I trimmed a little foam from behind with the multi-tool, then used a ratchet strap to draw the top of the frame back into square before fastening it down. VELUX suggests using a pry bar from inside, but there is nothing solid to pry against, only foam. Sometimes a proper tool is simply the one that persuades the timber to behave.
I'm making some progress at least. So the roof window is installed. I need to do the flashing and stuff like that first still, but I checked the weather report and it's cleared up for tomorrow. So no rain on the forecast. Okay. We have this window here, and that's the loft window, and then we've got the roof window. Yeah, so this is the view out the roof window. I already had it last night. It was beautiful, like I could see stars while I was sleeping. So let's look at how this works. This is where the continuous foam insulation behind here is on the roof, the 4 inches. And then this goes up over top of the back edge of this frame. You know, using some door and window frame, expanding foam back behind to help seal everything so there's no kind of leaks or drafts behind the foam. I'm gonna cap this with wood, and that's what this little slot here is for. Normally it's sized for drywall. I will be putting just a wood like this. Now, how does the roof window work? Well, this is one of the Skylight. You can't open it from the ground, right? Like we're in the loft, no problem. You can open the roof window. You can flick the latch. Skylights don't have that. They have vented skylights that do open, but they have like a rod or an electronic control to open it. There's a couple features to this thing which are like very cool. So first of all, so there's this bar up here, and you pop it down, and it's a vent. You know, there's just a ventilation. Some air comes in. If the handle is open and you go on this, like the first one, that's the ventilation. You can see light through there. There will be a cap over top, which is part of the window I haven't put on yet. That'll come on after the flashing's done. But still, there's a way for air to come in, which is nice up here. I mean, the wintertime probably like open it up and get a little breeze. So ventilation, you pop it down one more, and the window comes down. So you pull it down like that. This is the center pivot. So I suppose you could use the center pivot, but its real purpose actually is, you see these barrel bolts here? You've got these barrel bolts on the bottom. So what you can do is just keep flipping the window down, and you flip that barrel bolt out and it locks in. So now the window is flipped right inside out. So this is, you can sit here and wash the outside of the roof window, get it all nice and clean without having to climb up on the roof. So yeah, so you unlock that, bring it back up, and then you get it closed. Lock that, and then you come back down here, and that's the standard opening. and this window opens to a 45-degree angle. This roof is a 50-degree slope. So when the window is fully extended, it will be at a 5-degree down. So you're basically standing out here on the roof. Yeah, looking around. And with a fire safety ladder, this becomes a emergency egress. Could use this window. I've lost some weight. It's a little tight.
As always, I'm truly glad you spent this time with me. When I'm out here talking to the camera, it no longer feels like I'm talking to a machine. I know you're on the other side of it, following along, and over time that has come to feel a lot like friendship. The video ends here, but the work is already carried on well beyond it. From now on, I'm going to release the episodes when they're ready, sometimes every week, sometimes sooner, rather than forcing them on a particular day. So subscribe and ring the bell and you'll know when the next chapter arrives. This cabin has become a long story, told one piece at a time. A lot of viewers have gone back to the beginning and watched the journey in order. They've told me it changes the way they see everything that came afterwards. So maybe that's where you should go next. You can start right here.